What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me here on Feature Junkie. My name's Ed, and today we're going to be talking about the movie Titanic. Directed by James Cameron, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, Billy Zane, Gloria Stewart, and Bill Paxton. So IMDb has this movie rated as a 7.9 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes has this as an 88%, and Metacritic has this as a 75 out of 100. I've got a few things to say about this film, but before I do, if you could leave a like down below, I'd greatly appreciate that. Now let's get into the plot, courtesy of IMDb. After winning a trip on the RSM Titanic during a dockside card game, American Jack Dawson spots the society girl, Rose, who's on her way to Philadelphia to marry her rich snob fiancé, Calden Hockley. Rose feels helpless, trapped by her situation. She makes her way to the aft deck and thinks of suicide until she's rescued by Jack. Cal is therefore obligated to invite Jack to dinner at their first-class tables, where he suffers through the slights of his snobbish hosts. In return, he spirits Rose off to a third class for an evening of dancing, giving her the time of her life. Deciding to forsake her intended future altogether, Rose asks Jack, who has made a living of sketching on the streets of Paris, to draw her nude wearing the invaluable blue diamond Cal gave her. Cal finds out and has Jack locked away. Soon afterwards, the ship hits an iceberg and Rose must find Jack, while both must run from Cal, even as the ship sinks deeper into the freezing water. So, the Titanic. I mean, listen, there's not really much you can say bad about the third most grossing film of all time. Like, I'm 28, so clearly I don't remember watching this in the movie theaters, but I can just imagine the year of 1997 going to the movies and viewing this movie for the first time. It really must have been like an incredible experience, because here I am 25 years later wishing that I could watch this movie over and over and over again for the first time. And that's just the beauty of cinema. Like, let's just take the 90s into consideration and all the great movies that came out, like Jurassic Park, The Terminator, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, Goodfellas, and the list goes on and on. Yet there was one movie that is a love story, and that would be the first ever $2 billion movie in movie history. And that's back when the movie tickets weren't double the price, so like you really had to work hard for that $2 billion. To me, that's just insanely cool. And look, I don't care about Romeo and Juliet, I don't care about The Notebook, I don't care about When Harry Met Sally. Jack and Rose are the couple where I want to see more and more of their story. And much credit has to go to DiCaprio and Kate Winslet for making us invest into their relationship as well. It's just such a young and naive love, but it works. And we know that the first two acts are for them and they're falling in love, but we also know that the shipwreck comes in the third act. But I was just sitting there in my chair just thinking, like, please, like, can we just have this love story go on for at least one more day? And we all know that can't happen, but that just goes to show the power of storytelling and what great acting can do. Also, kudos to James Cameron. It's so crazy to me that he has 3 of the top 5 most grossing films of all time. And there's a clear comparison between the Titanic and the Avatar films on how they're so successful, and that has to do with no shortcuts with storytelling and visual effects. It's remarkable to me how he can take an historical event like the Titanic, which also blows my mind of how there were so many events that could have prevented the iceberg crash, but then infuse that with one of the most captivating love stories of our time, and teaching us that through pain and loss, love must continue to persevere, because we have an obligation to do so. It's just storytelling at its best. And to this day, you can say the visual effects for this film stand well on its own. One of my favorite scenes of the film is when Rose passes away, and it just shows like this underwater shipwreck slowly restore itself, where everyone else is waiting for her in the clock room by the stairs, and it's just a gorgeous transition and wonderful way to tell the story. So the whole purpose of this video is because Titanic is back in theaters for the 25th anniversary. It's a 3D experience, and while I don't think it adds to anything besides giving more depth and perspective to certain scenes, it doesn't take anything away from the viewing experience as well. So if you have a chance, check this out. Even if you've seen the movie before, we've all seen the movie before. It's just a totally different experience when you see it on the big screen. But I want to know what you guys have to say about this film. If you love this film, if you don't like the film, whatever it is, leave those in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe, hit the notification icon down below so you know when I'm going live or dropping new content. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me here today on Feature Junkie.